Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon Podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon Podcast. Quantum computing isn't science fiction anymore. It's coming up fast and it could crack today's blockchains like glass. If you thought rug pulls were bad, wait until you see what qubits can do to your wallet. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today, Ian Smith, CEO and CTO of Quantum EVM. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So once again, I said to you on air, you have a beautiful accent. Just love it. I think it's going to make this pod 1,000 times better than it could have been. Okay, so to start, my knowledge of quantum theory can be surmised by the book I read my 3-year-old, and I'm going to read it to you now. It's called Quantum Physics. It's Baby Loves Quantum Physics, right? And it says, baby loves cat goes meow. Okay, easy enough. Sometimes cat likes to hide. Okay, where is cat? So now they have to find cat. Where is cat now? Obviously, he's in the box. You can see his tail sticking out. Baby wants to find him, right? Is he here or is he here? Okay, so now we're looking for baby in between my filters. Cat is in the box. Okay, so we've established he's in the box. Maybe cat is asleep. I think you can see where we're going here. Maybe cat is awake, right? And now it's the grand finale. In quantum physics, until baby looks in the box, cat is both asleep and awake, which is, I think, a quantum superposition. I'm not sure. When baby opens the box, she will find out if cat is asleep or awake. And we say, hello, cat. That's my knowledge of quantum
the
theory.
cat says, hello world, end quote, semicolon.
So my question becomes, what is quantum computing and what does it have to do with cats?
So the really cool thing about the Schrodinger's cat experiment is that it's mostly a thought experiment, but it explains something that we observe, a very strange thing, very clearly. So if imagine the cat being asleep is snoring and the cat being awake is meowing, and the cat is 70% likely to be awake, you will hear both snores and meows, but the meows will be at 70% and the snores will be at 30%.
Wow.
And this is basically before the wave function has been resolved to a particle. The wave function exhibits all possibilities in the magnitude of their potential simultaneously.
Jeez. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Now so one of the cool things about qubits is that the same thing is true. They exhibit all of the possibilities simultaneously. And what we do is we strengthen the correct answer being likely. And this is how Shor's algorithm works.
Okay.
We just continue to strengthen the possibility that whatever math problem we're trying to do, the correct answer is sitting somewhere with the highest probability.
Yes, but what we can be relatively sure it is there somewhere.
Oh, it's definitely within the potential, and we're just trying to reinforce the correct answer. And by doing this in a looping fashion, we basically have a resonant frequency with the correct answer. And then boom, someone's private key pops out of their public key.
That's insane. So how do you have knowledge about how you build a quantum computer or how it's being built?
I have some knowledge. One of the things that's really interesting is that there's about, I think, 26 different quantum phenomena that people can use.
Wow.
And the way that quantum computing works is that we figured out a way to ask physics a question. We've loaded a question into physics. Physics does its normal thing, and then we're able to read the answer afterwards. So we're not just limited to like magnetic resonance of,
Mm.
we're not limited to just electron spin or photons. Any quantum phenomena that we figured out how to load a question and read the answer is a potential. And so then we're just trying to figure out, well, what can we do with them and how do we get there? And there's over 40 different algorithms that we can actually do. There's over 40 different math problems that we can load. Just people
Yes.
are mostly focused on two math problems, Shor's algorithm and Grover's algorithm.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier there in your sentence, you pop a frequency in, and out comes my data, out comes my detail. So that doesn't sound good for blockchain because ultimately that could crack blockchain, am I right?
Right. Anybody who has a known public key, they can turn it into the private key. And the equation that's protecting like Ethereum and Bitcoin is sec PT6K1, which is pretty simple. It's y squared equals x cubed plus 7.
Okay.
And they just use really large numbers.
Yeah.
Um, and the problem here is that if you can solve for X, you have their private key. And we just on Silicon we can't solve for X. It's really hard. It takes billions of years to solve for X.
Hmm.
Quantum computers, we're estimating that at about 1 million qubits, we can do it in about 8 hours
What?
with the current algorithms. Yeah. And that's multiple query, multiple answer. So it's not just one private key, it's multiple private keys.
Is that now with
Um,
AI? Sorry, is that with AI or is it like just without?
that's we're not even AI optimized
Oh,
yet.
geez. Okay. So it's even worse than I thought.
Right.
Okay, cool.
And we're expecting that the algorithms will continue to improve and that number of qubits will continue to go down. If you look at Alice and Bob and Amazon, they're both using something called cat qubits,
Hmm.
which is incapable of rendering, having a certain error. And it's the
Okay.
error that's just wrecking IBM and Google. So they're like, hey,
Yeah.
we have a head start. Um, and they calculate, Alice and Bob calculates they will need 70,000 qubits to break uh, Bitcoin in 8.5 hours.
Okay. So two-part question coming. When they built blockchain, was this foreseen as a potential issue, do you think? Or was it more of a case of, this is 50 years, 50, maybe let's say more than that away, we'll sort of deal with it when we get there?
So my first interest in cryptocurrency was 2002.
Hmm.
6 years before Bitcoin, and I
Wow.
had an idea for using RSA cryptography as individual non-fungible coins. So you'd have like $100 bill of RSA and a $10 bill of RSA, and you have to make change and stuff. It
Hmm.
wasn't a very good design, and I didn't release it because I didn't think the design was good.
Okay.
I couldn't solve double spend to my satisfaction. It was like
Okay.
first come, first serve, which is similar to blockchain, but it's first mined, first true.
Okay.
Um, the the thing that I did is I attempted to attack my own design for
Hmm.
months, and I figured out that the PS3 would be able to break the RSA cryptography that I was working on.
The
The
gaming,
PlayStation 3.
I was about to say the gaming console, but I didn't want to sound like an absolute idiot. But it is the PS,
No, no.
the gaming console.
Yeah, this it's called a cell processor, and the
Oh,
number one customer for the cell processor is the NSA. They bought millions of them, and they can break RSA with those.
do what?
So,
Jeez.
and I did this estimate on the mathematics involved
Mm,
on on paper and a little bit on computer. And one of the things that I encountered at the same time was Shor's algorithm. And I said,
mm,
okay, when quantum computers get there, it is going to be absolutely devastating.
yeah.
But they hadn't even done a few qubits at the time. And the 2 years later, the first quantum computers came with it's D-Wave, but it's
Hmm.
quantum annealing, which is like a really good guess at an approximation of an estimate of an answer. It's not actually doing calculation.
Geez, okay. It's sort of thumb sucking then, basically.
Uh,
A little bit more than thumbs,
it's
but
like
sucking two
throwing
thumbs.
It's throwing darts, knowing that you're never
Okay.
going to hit the target. And you're like,
Okay.
we got close. Is close good? Do you like
Yeah, yeah,
close?
I like
Well,
I'll
not
take
for
close.
cryptography.
Okay, well, okay.
It's really good for like fuel estimates and database optimizations,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's really
yeah.
bad for cryptography. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So the big challenge here was, well, when will that happen? And I realized
Mm,
that it was going to. I checked in like every few years. How's quantum doing? How's quantum doing? Okay, well, we're totally fine. Yeah, we're still
yeah.
totally fine.
Yeah.
And in 2023, I read a paper that said, "Uh-oh." And it was instead of doing a one gigantic circuit with millions of qubits that are all wired together, it was, hey, look, we're using these photonics, which are immune to all the errors that everybody else has, and we're building them in mass production, and they're horizontally scalable. And every time you triple the number of qubits, it runs 7 times faster.
Oh
And
my
that apparently
word.
does not have a limit.
So it just, what's the word I'm looking for? It
It's a
it stacks
compounding
compounding
improvement.
effect. Yeah, that's not good. Okay,
Yeah, that's really not
so
good.
we're moving faster and faster. So any hypothetical scenario, how many years away we are? Hard to say.
Well, they say that they're going to have PsiQuantum is in the lead for like mass production and industrial scale and everything else, and they say they're going to have 1 million qubits in 2027. So I think 2027 is when we should say, well, the risk begins here, and if they fail, and so does River Lane and several others, well,
Mm,
then maybe it'll be 2028. But by 2029, most people are saying that they're going to have something, at that scale. The problem is
yeah,
it'll
yeah.
take longer than that to upgrade Bitcoin.
Okay, but but is it a threat to our traditional finance as well, or is that
They've
fine?
already upgraded. They're done.
Okay.
They've already upgraded. There might be some mainframes that have to have a reverse proxy SSL engine, but they're already talking post-quantum and they have for over a year.
What's that word?
We current
Post quantum.
Yeah, your browser is currently post-quantum cryptography, and over 30%
Oh,
of the
cool.
traffic in December was post-quantum cryptography.
Just look at you, Web 2. Go, go, go.
Yeah, I mean, WhatsApp is upgraded, Signal's upgraded, Apple Messenger's upgraded. I mean, everybody's upgrading except blockchain. Blockchain's like, oh, the banks will get hit first. No, they're already done. They're done. They've upgraded.
Oh, shit. Now I'm thinking, yeah, why is it doesn't institutions want to take up Bitcoin? That now it's sort of like,
That's a yeah.
okay, yeah,
And what
that's,
they're doing is the Bitcoin community is like, hey, we'll
I'm
just
just,
leave Satoshi's coins for whoever can hack them first. It's only a 1 to 5 million Bitcoin. Oh, wait, what? 5 million Bitcoin? So Bitcoin's 100,000. That's a five
that is
hundred
so
billion
stupid.
dollar sale you're talking about?
That is so stupid.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's all the known public keys. That's not just
yeah,
Satoshi's, but
yeah, no, no, I
I
hear
mean,
you, but it's
yeah.
sort of again, you're dealing with people that are not pragmatic. They are idealists. They've got ideologies okay. Is it hard to upgrade
And they're
Bitcoin?
refusing to upgrade.
No, they're refusing. I just like I'm sitting here. I realized here's a big problem. It's just sort of stuck
Yeah.
in. Here's a big problem. Is it hard to upgrade Bitcoin?
So
Crypto
Bitcoin
in
has
general?
an upgrade path, and it's
Hmm.
making a new address type, and it's BIP 360, and I highly commend CryptoQuick for working on it. And he
Okay.
says he'll have something by the end of the year. He and I talk a few times.
Okay.
I helped a little bit with the BIP proposal. My advisor, who's a quantum physicist and
Hmm.
quantum algorithm specialist
Jeez.
and cryptographer, uh, is credited on BIP 360, Pierre-Luc Dalmier. So the problem here is that that's not enough. You also have to upgrade all of the mining equipment, You have to upgrade all of the explorers, the wallets, the chain tools. We have to sacrifice some bits like uh, Lightning Network because that has to go away. Yeah, so it's gonna there's gonna be a lot of blood in the water, even if the upgrade path goes very smoothly.
Anyone realize that this industry does not go in one direction? I don't know if anyone's realized that, but it's like to get a group of people to do one thing, just like if it's an upgrade to a block or anything, it's like such a mission. So now you're talking about something gargantuan. Okay, this time 2 years, maybe at the most four. So what happens to crypto and blockchain if they don't do it? And let's say that quantum D-Day arrives, what happens? And
So
who?
the
Sorry. And who exploits? Who are we talking about? Is it China? Is it a private company in America? God, it's not Europe. Let's not.
it, it, it might be someone who
Might
left
be.
Europe.
Might be.
It might
Okay,
be
yeah.
it
Oh,
might be
wow.
England. England of all places. What?
Are you
Uh,
serious? Are you joking?
Seriously. No, no.
Okay.
Um, so there's different candidates here, and there's over 40 companies in the competition.
Okay.
And Oxford Ionics has a room temperature quantum computer that doesn't quite run yet, but if they can
Mm.
just produce them in scale, after they get a few thousand of them, they'd be able to run the algorithms that work at scale, and they'd be able to, crack Bitcoin at room temperature, and that's using trapped ion.
Yeah, yeah,
Then
yeah.
so there's three categories of attackers. The
Okay.
first category is the NSA, and if the NSA manages to break Bitcoin, they're just going to go arrest like North Koreans for after they crack the mixing, right? They're going to go attack the attackers. They're not going to like destroy the everyone's 401k plan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
On the opposite side, you have China, who says that they must destroy Bitcoin in order to survive. The People's Republic of China will fail if Bitcoin exists. And the reason for that is they're losing basically a third of their GDP every year to currency exchange, and Bitcoin they can't stop that bleeding.
Yeah, so yesterday we're recording now, it's the 16th of April. Yesterday they were reports are secretly selling Bitcoin on the black market, the CCP, just to
Mhm.
sort of remain liquid. So that
Yeah,
checks
they
out.
need the cash.
Yeah, that
They
checks
need the
out to me
cash.
then. Okay. And the third one being, sorry.
All the companies in the middle.
Mm,
And China, when you compare like China versus IBM, Google,
mm,
they made the same kind of computer, so you can compare them apples to apples.
mm.
And China's, what I think three times larger and five times faster than Google's, and they're making the same architecture. And China has several architectures all functioning. They don't have just one. They've made several different kinds of quantum computers, not knowing which one would be most successful.
Jeez.
So in the middle, you've got 40 companies, 45 companies that are, talking about making large quantum computers within the next few years. And, Riverlane is very good. They have the fastest gates. Everybody's like running it at hertz or kilohertz, and they're running at megahertz, sampling the data.
So it's basically an
Um,
arms race. It's basically an
it,
arms race.
it's an arms race with billions of dollars, and then Bitcoin is saying, and you get hundreds of billions if you win. Yeah, great, good job, guys. Good job.
It's so
That's really going to protect everybody.
that's so
Yeah.
stupid. Okay. Um, what what are you working on at Quantum EVM? What are you specifically working on? I earlier you said that
Yeah.
you consult on projects, whatever. But what is it that keeps you busy a day?
So Bitcoin has an upgrade path, and
Mm,
Ethereum has a self-destruct button for Vitalik to rewind the chain, break all the bridges, break all
yeah.
the layer twos, destroy all ZK, and then adopt a ZK Stark, where you have to insert your mnemonic key to be proven by the ZK Stark. every time you do a transaction. So that destroys about 30 to 60% of wallets. All the multi-sig are gone. All of the anybody who's lost their key is gone. Anybody who uses custodial service is wiped out. And he's like, it'll be, we'll survive. And I'm like, with what? What's left? Not much. So we're making all of the standard cryptography, the NIST recommended highest security, the Crystal Lithium 5, and we've implemented that for signing transactions and doing blocks.
Mm.
And we're just gluing an EVM on top of that, and it's a bit of a pain because there's like no standards in their code.
Okay.
How long is an address? It's either 42 bytes, it's 40 bytes, it's 32 bytes,
I
or
swear.
it's
Yeah.
like there's like 8 different ways to phrase the address, and I'm like, no, the address is too small. We have to make it 256 bit. You can't. If you do like a birthday attack using the Bitcoin hash rate, you have about a 55% chance right now to get a duplicate uh,
Jeez.
hash
That's very
at
good, actually.
160 bits.
It's actually
Yeah.
very good. Scarily too much. Scarily too much.
So we're saying let's go to 256 because quantum is much better at that
Yeah.
than silicon. And well, Bitcoin's already touching the fringe right now, so I'm like, yeah, we're going to 256.
Okay. All people.
Um,
Yeah. All,
so just swapping out the cryptography and then
okay.
making a new ecosystem.
Are people listening to you? Enough.
So it's really funny because that's a litmus test of my audience. The technical guys will start sweating and go pale and get really quiet and nervous as soon as they understand, right? As soon as they get it, they're like, "Oh God, we're so screwed. We are so screwed. Oh no!" It's like because all ZK also goes away. Uh, and it's not just the secrets; it's also the ability to like forge secrets
I
and
need to buy
forge.
this. I need to buy this book. I need to buy this book. Seriously. Oh,
So
oh.
anybody who's technical is like, yeah, we are so screwed. The VCs and the CEOs are mostly reacting the same way. I explained it to them with the Eli 5, and they're like, well, we'll prepare, but all they're really doing is trying to make hay when the sun is shining. They're
Yeah.
just trying to cash in as much as they can now with no preparation by the majority of them, or the preparation that they do is an absolute farce. And the marketing people say, well, we'll just label ourselves quantum safe and we'll get sales. And there's about 30 companies that have done that.
I've seen
The
that.
ones
Yeah.
that are making false claims, there's about 5 companies doing that, like XX Network and Hedera.
Mm.
They don't use the cryptography that they claim to use. They're not safe at all.
Wow.
They like Hedera uses SecP256K1, the same as Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're not. There's no safety there whatsoever. And then XX Network is built on uh, ED25519, which is the same as Solana and the same as Lightning, and that's just going to go away. So, yeah,
Jeez. Listen, I love the way you just pull out these numbers out of your head. Has anyone told you that's like just so cool?
I'm autistic, so most people are like, "What's wrong with you?"
My eldest son is slightly neurodivergent, so I think that's why me and you click so well.
It helps.
It
We have our
helps.
own body language, and we have a respect for
Absolutely.
truth and things like that.
I love it. Well, so let's pray and hope for the best. If VCs can do it, we can do it as well. Thank you so much for joining me in the pod today. If the listeners and if you're in crypto want to connect with you and find out more about what it is that you do at Quantum EVM, where can they find you?
So quantumevm.com is a great place. And then we also have X and YouTube, Quantum EVM. And we have a link tree, which is Quantum EVM. And that has all of our socials. Plus, our Telegram is t.me/quantum EVM, all lowercase. And you can get all the links off of our website, and you can come chat with us. And sometimes I'm available, and sometimes I'm busy with
So is this
conferences or code.
saving the world? Save the cheerleader, save the world. If you don't know what that means, then we can't be friends. So thank you.
I
So
liked
yeah,
Heroes. I
I
just
love season one was the best, probably one of the best series, and then I don't know what happened. But if you know anything about studios and networks, they tend to just fuck shit up.
they they really they went more for character development instead of plot, and people wanted plot. And the character development they did was watching a guy who's way too powerful go insane. And well, that
Doesn't help. Doesn't help the story.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways, thank you,
So
sir. Yeah.
I'm hoping to not go insane and save Web3 in the process. Build Noah's Ark. Maybe we'll watch the flow of value go to quantum safety. But if not, well, good luck swimming.
And on that note, we'll put all the links in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me. To our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.
I couldn't save you anymore. I couldn't take it back. I couldn't rewrite the past. You couldn't make me stay. I couldn't make you ask. How did it come to this? You just can't forgive. This can't be how it ends. Is it all pretend? And it still hurts. I still ache. I still get reverberations in my brain, and it still hurts. I still ache. I still get reverberations in my brain. We couldn't work it out. We couldn't find the root cause. You couldn't feel my pain. I couldn't make you pause. We couldn't fix the crack. We couldn't rewrite the past. You couldn't make me stay. I couldn't make you ask. How did it come to this? You just can't forgive. This can't be how it ends. Is it all pretend? And it still hurts. I still ache. I still get reverberations in my brain, and it still hurts. I still ache. I still get reverberations in my brain. I still get reverberations in my brain. I still get reverberations in my brain. How did it come to this? You just can't forgive. This can't be how it ends. Is it all pretend? And it still hurts. I still ache. I still get reverberations in my brain, and it still hurts. I still ache. I still get reverberations in my brain. I still get reverberations in my brain. I still get reverberations in my brain. How did it come to this? You just